I did something that I've always wanted to do, but never had the guts to do. I vended for the first time, and I want to tell you about it. So let's go. The night before, I put out all my journals that I made and my stickers. I laid them all out for me to see. I wanted to know what my starting inventory was because I like to track things. And I got them all packed away so I don't forget anything. I have a few preparedness bones in my body, if you'll call them that. I have a need to be prepared. One of my recent art projects was to use this egg carton and just doodle on it after I took a trip to LA and wanted to use that as inspiration. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it because I ended up liking it a lot, so I decided to bring it to my vending table and use it to display stickers. I got up super bright and early. I tend to be a very early worm. Oh wait, is it early bird gets the worm? I tend to be very early. I arrived at 7:30 and got everything set up. The display looks very dynamic. In my last video, I used the word cute too much, so I'm trying to veer away from that. Very dynamic. The other things I set up were a box of my journals to hopefully entice people to my table. There were no other vendors there yet. I don't know if this is how it usually works, but this vending situation is a bit different. No one has spots, nothing is saved. You just kind of show up and vend. So I waited for others to come, but there were no other vendors. I was wondering if I was going to be the only one, and no one was stopping by. I had this idea of sharing my YouTube videos as I vend because I thought it would be pretty nice if I bought something from, a vendor that I passed by and they kind of showed me the process of how they designed it, how they put it together. So since I have those videos, I decided it might be nice to actually share them with people. I did that by drawing my best attempt at the YouTube logo and writing my handle there. I also didn't have anything else to do. I made the mistake of not having busy work, and that is a mistake for me because I tend to love to be busy. I always want to be doing something. But I see the positive in it because I know that that's not a good way to function. I know that you need to have times of calm and rest and not doing anything. So I took it as a challenge to be okay doing nothing. I looked at the trees around, they were really pretty. I tried to just empty my thoughts and be present in the moment, which is very hard for me. I decided to actually change the setup as well, so I was thinking that people couldn't really see, if the journals were in a box, what designs I had, and they might not want to stop by, so I decided to actually put it out on the table to make it more easy for people to peruse. Also, there ended up being quite a bit of wind that day, and I don't have video of all of how strong it was, but it did end up making things fly, all of the loose stickers. So having the egg carton really came in handy. It was holding the stickers up, and that's something that I didn't think about, but I know in the future of my vending time, I will have to kind of consider the elements and how that plays a factor. At around 9, other vendors started showing up, so I knew I wouldn't be the only one. And then around 9:30, people started walking by. I put my camera away for this. I didn't want to have it out all the time because I would be a little weirded out if I walked by a vendor and they just had a camera out. So for the sake of the public passing by my stall, I decided to put the camera away. I'll just be putting a little doodle that I made over this part of the video. People started coming by at around 9:30, which was 2 hours after I showed up. So as I'm talking about the vending part, I'll mostly just have this doodle that I did up. So please accept that. But as you can see, I cataloged all of the interactions I had so I can share them with you. At 9:36, the first person walked by and said, "What do I have?" I told them I have journals and stickers, and they said, "Cool." That was nice. At 10:17, someone walked by and said, "Cute." Which that was nice to hear because in my previous videos, I described almost everything I made as cute. So it's nice to hear that other people do think it's cute as well. There was also a kid walking by and they said, "Aw, no stickers?" I wanted to stop them, but they were already 2 stalls ahead of me. I was starting to doubt that my displays were clear, that I had stickers, so it planted a seed of doubt in my egg display. But a few minutes later, someone walked by and said that they loved my display. I guess that reaffirms the egg carton idea. At 10:30, about 3 hours after I first arrived, I made my first sale, so the sale started. I was trying a pay what you want model because when I see art sometimes that I do like, the price kind of holds me back. I don't really like spending money on myself. Like, that's something that I have trouble with. So even if I like something, I'll hold myself back if it's too expensive or too pricey in my mind. That's why I wanted to try a pay what you want model, so that if people liked it, they could decide what they want to pay for it and what makes sense for them. It was also a way for me to test the prices because I currently don't have a real concept of what to sell them for. So I'm gonna put up a list of what actually sold and at what times. My first 3 sales were to actual strangers. The light orange color are the times that I sold to someone that I don't actually know. And then friends and people I knew started coming. So I sold to 3 actual people. The other colors are friends. And I mean, I don't know if they just bought from me because they want to support me. I'm sure they did. But that also counts as sales for my first time, so I'm counting them into my total. The greens are my friends that stopped by. And the blues are some people that I just gave it to without wanting them to pay. They were my mentor, some old students that stopped by that I used to work with. So I didn't want them to have to pay for anything. But I did ask them how much they would pay because they were offering to pay, so I wanted to keep track of that. Then I had a few more funny interactions. Someone stopped by and said that my art is funny. Someone stopped by and they just pointed at my egg carton and said, "Are there eggs in there?" I had so much fun. I was having such a good time. It was so nice to see some of my friends and just talk to people who were passing by, who enjoyed my art, and yeah, I get to see their genuine reactions to it in real time. So I had such a great experience. I'll definitely be doing it again. It was just a really great day and really motivating. I made a total of $67, unfortunately. I know in the year 2026 that's like a terrible number to make, but I'll take it. $67. So I went home. I was I had such a good day. It was very nice. And then I was looking at photos of the event the next day and I saw that my ex, an ex I do not want to see at all, I don't care for, I don't want anything to do with, was at the event at the same time as me. And I just never expected to see them again. I am glad I didn't even know they were there. That would have ruined my experience. But I guess sometimes it's just a really small world, and that's part of my first time vending story. So